Good afternoon. It's Celeste of Astrology by Celeste. I'm back with another cosmic conversation. Yes, I am. I'm so excited to talk to Monty. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Monty and Veronica and everyone. Okay, I'm so excited for our conversation. Okay. Hi, Six Tarot.
Hi.
Yay! Hi, how are
Good.
you?
Through the magic of technology.
Yes, yes. I'm so excited to speak with you. I absolutely love the way you dialogue about
Oh,
astrology on
thank
your
you.
you just have just such a beautiful way of expressing the this beautiful language of astrology.
Well, I'm at the deep end of the pool. I've been working on a book that teaches everybody how to read an astrology chart for several years, and I'm days away from completing it. It's 110,000 words.
Ah,
Yeah, and Amy did 36 tapestries, one for every planet, the nodes, the signs, the houses. It's our life's work.
oh, how beautiful. What do you know the name of it yet or not yet?
Yeah, well, it's for Inside Editions, and it's called Your Cosmic Blueprint.
Oh,
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
I love it. Well, introduce yourself for anybody who does not know who you
I
are.
am Monte Farber, and I'm an astrologer, a counseling astrologer for 40 years. And you might have my karma cards as one of your astrology book collection. It's the card game that teaches you the planet signs and houses. And I've done a bunch of other astrology books over the years. And with my wife, Amy Zerner, we've made an impact on the world of metaphysical thought.
Absolutely, absolutely. And do you share your sun, moon, and rising?
Oh, no, I don't mind at all. I, I have an exact septile between Mars and Pluto, so I have overconfidence. So, yeah, I'm an Aquarius and I'm a Leo rising. So those are opposite signs.
Mhm.
And for those of you who know astrology, I have a Pluto transit of my sun right now because Pluto's right on the early degrees of
Ooh.
Aquarius, and I have my moon is in Pisces, which keeps me from being a total robot. So, other than that, I mean, I can go through the whole
Oh,
chart
that
if
is
you
so
want.
beautiful. So you have a sun in Aquarius,
Correct. In the
and then
sixth house, yeah.
do you work all the
Well,
time or no?
yes, and I have Venus and Jupiter also in Aquarius. So I love my work, and my work loves me. And yes, I work all the time.
But you have that moon in Pisces. That explains the way you dialogue so beautifully,
Oh,
like that.
thank you so much. And it's the moon in Pisces is in the eighth. I also have Neptune in the third. That might also have something,
Ah.
the hippie Neptune and Libra in the third.
Mhm.
Saturn and Virgo in the second with Mars and Libra there. And Pluto is 5 degrees away from my ascendant. So
Oh, okay.
that's
And are you did you
judgmental.
start feeling it as soon as it went into Aquarius?
Oh, I feel it all the time. Pluto and me are good friends.
Yeah, you said you have a septile
Uh,
to your Mars. So will you explain to people what a septile is for people who don't know?
Well, all the angles are really if you divide the circle by different things. If you divide the circle by zero or one, you get the conjunction. You divide it by two, you get the opposition. Three is the trine. Four is the square. There is a five, and six is the sextile, which I like to call the sexy tile. And the septile is an angle that is arrived at by dividing a circle in seven.
Mhm.
And usually it shows up on your chart as a little circle with an S on it. I'm always looking for it in charts because it can indicate not it's hard to talk about really because it doesn't occur very often, but it can sometimes indicate some kind of cosmic blessing. And
Mhm.
and the way I try and look at it is if I really do have that, I want to pass it on.
Ah, and I've heard it described as almost like otherworldly, an
Well, that's for
otherworldly
sure.
talent.
Well, thank you so much. We do call our brand the Enchanted World. So that's the other world, which is very sounds very Neptunian, but
Hmm. And
we're
what do you
actually
think?
we're actually quite pragmatic.
Ah, I don't have any quintiles, which is dividing the circle by five, I believe.
Right, right,
Yeah, the
right.
72 degrees. I mean, I don't have any septiles, but I have quintiles. And so how do you describe a quintile?
Well, I mean the five is the number of human beings, right? It's like the Leonardo da Vinci drawing of the man with the arms out and the legs out. So it's somebody who is here to advance humanity. I
Okay,
always
I'm
say.
going to start introducing myself. Hello, I'm Celeste, and I am here to advance humanity through the technique of astrology and other
Well,
insights. How's that?
definitely. Yeah, well, I mean that's how I've always seen. I think I have some. Yeah, I mean the thing with the subtile, you know, there are people that have had them that are interesting, but there are people that are interesting and famous that have all kinds of different angles. Like Amy
Hmm.
has a bicep tile between Uranus and Neptune, and she makes this amazing art like behind me.
It's
You know,
incredible.
yeah, and it's all sewn. It's not Photoshop or glued. And she has what they are is they are actually make an exact septile each from either side of her midheaven. So she has a Uranus and Neptune, and she's born on the Uranus station.
Ah.
So she's kind of an artistic genius, but completely modest. If I was like her, my Leo rising would not let me be as modest as she is.
How does she do with the Uranus retrograde and direct those days?
I've known her since 1974. We've been together, living together for almost 50 years. She's always the same. I mean, it's one of the reasons that I was attracted to and still love her is she's always been this amazing, emotionally intelligent, so not like my childhood person. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
She it's not like she's a rock. She's just herself. She's herself. She's her authentic self, which is as you know, is the goal. That's the goal. Be your authentic self. Here's your chart. It's not good, it's not bad, make it work. That's really what it always comes back to. Because there's no chart that's good enough that you can't screw it up. And there's no chart that's bad. Like, Al Morrison, I guess invented the concept of what is it called? Void of course moons.
Mm.
Yeah, so he looked at my chart. He said, "You have a very difficult chart." I said, "Thank you." But yeah, yeah, I have a lot of oppositions. It's
Mm.
and so does Amy.
Mhm.
So does Amy. And and
And what is your advice for balancing the oppositions? Because so many people, that back,
yeah,
it can,
yeah, yeah.
what is your advice on getting the
Well,
seesaw to balance a little
I
bit?
think the first thing is don't expect it not to be there. You know what I mean? It's like no, yeah, it's like your Chiron return, right? It's like the time when you realize, oh, those things that happened in my childhood, and I thought I was going to take care of them. Well, guess what? I'm not going to take care of them, but I am going to bring them with me into the future. It's sort of making friends with yourself. I mean, Edgar
Mhm.
Casey called karma meeting yourself. And I
Ah.
think a large part of meeting yourself is sort of being friends with yourself because the problem most people have is not that they're bad, it's that they think they're bad or that they're not weak, but they think they're weak. And
Ah.
it's that's what it comes back to. And that's what I'm trying to resolve with this book, with your cosmic blueprint, because when we were doing a project called a Pathfinder, which was like a talking board, like our psychic circle, but it was about native. It was based on First Peoples.
Hmm.
I was very worried about the whole cultural appropriation thing,
Hmm.
and it coincided with me going down to Mexico for what was called the Prophets Conference, and one of the people we met was Mayan elder Hunbots Men, who was the real deal. I mean, a real Mayan shaman, and I saw him do miracle. I mean, I and totally like Amy, totally humble, no big deal. This is what I do. This is what I am. And I said to him, we want to do this, but we don't want to offend people. He says, no, you got to do it. He said, we have to make thousands of shamans now. We're entering sacred times, and that was years ago. And we're
Mm.
in those sacred times. Now, as you know, as an astrologer, when you look at all the planets changing signs and what where everybody's dealing with every day, you don't have to look past the news to know that
Mm-hmm.
we're in sacred times.
And let's talk about the times we are in. Like, what are some of the
Oh
things
my
that you're
God,
you're seeing with this, especially Pluto in Aquarius,
big time.
Saturn and Neptune in Aries, and
Whoa.
Uranus in Gemini. What are you feeling is coming in for us?
I don't know, but I feel like I'm at the top of a roller coaster ride where, it's just about, I mean, I can think about them individually, and of
Mhm.
course it applies individually in everybody's chart. But Pluto changing sign, I mean, which happens what every depending on the time, and because sometimes Pluto's within the orbit of Neptune, but it's as having Pluto on my sun makes me think mainly about that. I mean, and I've handed off Neptune, which has been on my moon. I handed it off to Amy. Now it's on her sun. I was like, you know what? Here, go ahead. When Nep- when Neptune hit my sun, I was like, I was a location manager, and I started getting lost, and I have the best sense of direction. So Pluto in Aquarius is transformation of humanity. Anytime you see Pluto, it's how you deal with overwhelming events. So,
Mm.
and I always think of, now we're in the Aquarian age. If people want to debate me, fine. But I feel like actually since about 9/11, we've been in the Aquarian age where, the theme song is Everybody is a Star because it's the Aquarian polarity. It's the Aquarian Leo polarity
Mhm.
with Aquarius being that one. Um, and how does it's like what Andy Warhol said, everyone's going to be famous. Social media, everyone's going to be famous for 15 minutes. And it's been coming in for a while. We knew someone who did one of the early big websites called iVillage.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, and we tried to introduce her to our famous friend Rona Jaffe, who was an author, and wanted to write an article for her website. And the people on the website said, no, the people who subscribe to our website, they want to be the stars. They don't want to have stars telling them what to do. And that was and I was like, yeah. So Pluto and Aquarius is where humanity, the struggle, because Pluto is always a struggle, power struggle, between humanity and the individual.
Mm.
So I mean, and I'm sure you have your own definition of it, but I
I
real
love
I
that, the
real
struggle between humanity and the individual,
right
or
because
this.
yeah, because you have to find your. I look at young people nowadays, and it's so hard to be different because Uranus is all about being different,
Mm-hmm.
and Aquarius is all about being different. I wear the glasses and the hat and all. Well, that's all Leo rising stuff a little bit too. But I've never ever been problem. It's never been a problem for me to be different. It's been a problem in the sense that it's annoying sometimes because people don't allow you to. So everyone now is trying to be different. How do you be different in a world that is this different? So that's one of the main things with Pluto. I guess you could say Amy and I are different from our generation because divorce is so prevalent in the people of our generation. The
Ah.
Neptune and Leo but we have this we have this really amazing relationship that I don't want to make people sick, but we love each other.
Well, today is Venus Neptune. Pour some
Yes,
sugar on your beautiful love story.
you are absolutely right. I'm looking at the astro clock right now. It's 1 degrees 13 and 1 degrees 9. That's exact. Yeah, idealized love. One of the things I teach in my book is using keyword technique to trigger in yourself the free associations with what does something mean. Venus is how we love, how we attract what we love. Neptune is what we idealize. Um, so with Venus and Neptune, For the strong people, it's a wonderful thing. For the weak people, they might have a tendency to stretch the truth. Let's put it that way. And
Mhm.
everything has a spectrum of meaning. Isn't astrology great?
It is. It's a language. Like I
Yes.
view it as a language, and you
Yeah.
can. And I like to tell my students, like, if you're out and about and something catches your eye, think about how it relates to what's going on astrologically, and
Yes.
how
I mean,
you could use it to describe what you're seeing or what has happened. And it's so often,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that is super powerful. And that's the way transits work also, because you're
Hmm.
seeing transits working in reality.
Yes.
Like yesterday, um, we knew this was happening. Amy had like 25 students from a local private school, the Ross School, come to visit her studio to learn about collage
Hmm.
from her, which is great.
Hmm.
And then out of the blue, our friend whose daughter goes to the same school called us to invite us to a play that she was in. You're a good man, Charlie Brown.
I just saw something about why is Charlie Brown in the
I don't know.
collective energy?
Well, I
Because he was
always use Charles.
ordinary, maybe, and his
Well,
unique
because it's
self.
so universal, I think I always use the Snoopy cartoon of the dog on the doghouse going, "I love humanity. It's people I can't stand," to describe to people what Aquarius is like. You know, I mean, it's funny, but it's true. It's like every other joke. So there was that theme of young people because we don't have children. Our
Mhm.
nephews have moved away,
Uh-huh.
around the world. Um, but yet that transit, we must have been having some transit that if I wasn't so busy living and writing this book that's on deadline, I would be looking it up to find out what the young people transit was, and it was moving. I mean, to tears. Because when you
Mm.
see young people and the hope and the not knowing, that combination of that, it makes you remember your own youth. Those the themes that come in with astrology. Plus, as you know, looking at life through an astrological lens makes it so much more interesting.
Yes. Well, let me. Do you want to hear about my experience yesterday?
Sure, of course.
So I went with a friend to see the show Sinners as the sun was coming to conjunct by Saturn. So
Wow.
that feels very in line with the show Sinners. And
Yeah.
I was helping her with the gate to get out with her credit card and stuff. And like a nitwit, I walked under the gate. It was one of those, with the white and the red stripe, like for a parking garage that goes up and
Gotcha.
down like this.
Yes, yeah, sure.
It's an outdoor parking garage, and I walked out under it, and the thing hit me in the top of the
Oh
head.
my God. You're lucky you're
I,
okay.
I am very lucky I'm okay. My neck feels a little funny. It didn't really hurt, but yesterday, I think it was yesterday, it was exact. Yeah. The North Node was sextile Uranus.
Wow, there you
And
go. Yeah, sudden out of the blue stuff.
I have Uranus conjunct my IC. And I've learned and witnessed from one of my teachers, Wade Caves, that with the South Node, it can be falling from a height.
Wow.
And I just had an experience with the North Node transit being bopped in the head. So now I need to study. Is that a common thing where things come from above
That's amazing. And
and hit people?
also, the gate coming down is something falling from above as well.
Mm-hmm.
Besides hitting you, it's your top, it's bottom. It's so nodal. My God, I love
And then
astrology.
and the
I'm
moon
glad you're
was
okay.
I feel okay. I'm going to the chiropractor tomorrow. Last night I was like, "Oh my God, this is
Yeah.
this is crazy. How did this
Well,
happen?" It was so like just and right before I did it, well, right before I did it, the moon was sextile my Saturn. So it was like the sun was on my Saturn, the moon sextiled my Saturn, which is conjunct my sun in Taurus. Uh,
well,
and it's like,
yeah, and
and my
Uranus.
birthday's tomorrow, and I'm
Oh,
like, what is
oh,
this
happy
terrible thing
birthday.
to happen right before my birthday?
Well, I mean, Uranus is what, 13 degrees away from your sun, because I'm looking at but at the same time, when you're talking about the sun, that's close enough for jazz. You know, because
Yeah.
I say that in the book is there, in terms of aspects,
Oh, yeah. What did you say about aspects here?
well, I mean, there's no real hard fast rules. You go at a certain point, like you are at that point, I'm at that point. Lots of astrologers are where we've seen enough where we know intuitively if there's an effect because in the hoary astrology, if it's in the sign, it's conjunct.
Hmm.
They don't really go by the aspects.
Yeah.
It's you know Sometimes I think astrology is as scientific as it is, and it is scientific. I think it also is like the flame that Nostradamus looked into, where it's designed to put you in a state of relaxed concentration, where your higher self can get the information directly from the source and from the Akashic record or the quantum field or whatever you want to call it. Because I mean, obviously, what happened to you happened. Therefore, there is a way that it can be seen. And you can look at it so Venus and Neptune were conjunct. So you were trying to help your friend.
Hmm.
That's very neat. Venus, Neptune, that's very Mother Teresa. And you weren't concentrating, because anytime you see Neptune involved, you know that it's a diffusion or gases or messy or the ocean or waves or so you could say that you weren't and why would anyone be watching out for a gate coming down on them? It's like and that's what I mean by astrology being, yes, you can tell stuff, but the fact that it makes you think out of the
Hmm.
box like that makes
Hmm.
you a better person with a more interesting life. That's why I'm so excited about my new book.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And just seeing these things happen, and it's like, well, it didn't have to happen, but it did happen. Why did it happen? It was very Neptunian.
Yes, yeah,
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 it was
yeah.
very
And
Neptunian. It's like I hadn't been drinking or anything. It was just not pay. Yeah, it was just not paying attention. Yeah, and I was walking, following her car out because she was going to pull over and give me a gift for my birthday. So that was
aw,
Venus
so
Neptune. I was getting a gift.
it's Venus Neptune. It's Venus Neptune on so many levels. So what's your rising sign?
I am a Cancer rising,
Okay,
so 20 degrees of Cancer. So the moon was at that time was at
right, right.
12 degrees of Cancer in my 12th. I use Placidus. What house system do you use when you're doing your astrology?
I use the cock
Oh,
or Koch or whatever
okay.
method. It seems, and I do it just because it seems to make my chart work more in line with what I think about myself.
Mm.
But Placidus is pretty much the same.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that changes in my chart when I move the houses around is my Mars. And sometimes it's in the second, sometimes it's in the third. But I can read it in both,
Hmm.
and um, but yeah, all the differences that astrologers have, I sometimes see. I wish they'd concentrate on the similarities. That's why I tell people about the part of fortune. I say, astrologers are like rabbis. You put two in a room, you get three opinions, but everybody agrees about the part of fortune. It's like, yeah, 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 sure. You know,
What do you say about the part of fortune? I don't
well,
pay that much
it
attention.
seems to be an area of how you will succeed in
Oh
life.
yeah.
Um, Yeah,
Hmm.
or it's something that you will be strengthened by. My part of fortune is close enough to my Uranus on the second degree of Cancer, which is my ruling planet,
Ah.
and it's in the 11th. And I've had the most amazing friends, but of course in Aquarian fashion, it's like Uranus in Cancer is freedom from motherhood. So, or I mean, it's one of the many keyword what we call storytelling, not
Hmm.
storytelling, but storytelling, making these keyword stories about the different planets. That's what the book is about, is to
Hmm.
teach people to make these stories as a way of you don't have to look it up all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Every once in a while, you do have to look it up because it's interesting to see what other astrologers say. But like I said before, we got to make thousands of astrologers now because we're in sacred times.
Absolutely. The more people can learn about this beautiful sacred language to understand the times we're in, Oh, I want to get your insights on Neptune and Aries. What are you seeing so far that are and
Well,
expected?
I mean, once again, everything has a spectrum of meanings. It could be anywhere from idealizing aggression. So
Hmm.
if a person is into aggression, they're going to think, well, now's the time to go.
Yes.
Or it's idealizing the individual, which directly
Idealizing the courageous individual. I
exactly the pioneer who wants to do something that no one else has done, and that amplifies the Pluto coming in. Pluto, which is the higher octave of Mars, I mean it amplifies the Pluto in Aquarius. You know, because there's Aquarius where you want to stand out from humanity, and now the individual is idealized. So there's going to be some really I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to do it. People are going to come up with yet another way of being so unique. What a challenge! What a challenge! And like you say, Uranus is going to change signs
mm-hmm.
into Gemini, where Jupiter is now. Oh, and Uranus and Taurus has, I think, been very difficult.
Oh, absolutely. Well, our values are really, I think that there's a big story about values that's really coming into light and how different. Do you mind if we talk a little politics stuff?
No, I don't mind at all. I mean, you can't avoid it because the U.S. has had its Pluto return. It's still going on. It's going to be having a Uranus return. It's having a Neptune opposition. I mean, last time Neptune was in Aries was just before the civil. You know, it was
It was just
yes.
before.
Yeah, and
Well,
last time Pluto was in Aquarius was just after the French Revolution and just after the American Revolution. So is it any surprise that everybody's a little stirred up?
yeah. And this last night, this was, I think this was it happened very recently. There was this woman who has a couple of kids, and she was at a
Oh,
playground,
I saw
and
that today. Oh, Jesus.
I think this story could have legs about how a little black boy, he's like 5 and maybe autistic, took something out of her diaper bag
Yeah,
or
yeah,
kid's
yeah,
bag.
yeah, yeah.
And she
Well,
started calling him the N word. And
yeah, well, to me, racism is the worst, most stupid thing that has to be destroyed. And talk about the Dark Ages. So, and whenever you realize you read something about somebody having that kind of reaction, y- yes, they were raised that way, but still, don't you have your car has brakes. Why don't you? You know, why aren't you trying to develop yourself as a person? The
well, the
the
thing I
main thing,
find so interesting about this story is that, okay, so someone
yeah,
videotaped it, an
yeah, yeah.
influencer promoted it, and then she started getting a lot of hate on social media. So she took her site down. Well, she put up a GoFundMe, like a Go Fish Go or something like that, and she's
Yes,
raised over $90,000
it's
for
over
herself.
300,000 now. Yeah, I just read this morning. It's over $300,000. I it's hard to
She's
put your
being
finger on.
rewarded for attacking a child, but
I
they're
know,
trying
and
to
I have to
protected
say,
from left the left loony mob kind of is what
well,
that.
yeah, well, but the thing is first of all, she should have kept her, as
Well,
Robert,
this is the best thing she's ever done for herself. She doesn't look like she has a big fat bank account.
well,
She,
she
and
does
she has a
now.
Leo moon. We have her birth date because
Are you kidding?
she's got a criminal record, so we have her birth date,
Wow,
and she has a Leo moon. It's at 6 degrees at noon, so we don't know what time she's born. But that Mars Pluto opposition that happened right before the new moon, I feel like
wow,
she's a symbol of this.
right.
And as we move to the Scorpio moon, full moon, it's like our values and how different they are for Americans. Like was for some people, we're just horrified by the fact of a grown adult would terrorize a child, but other people are, think what she did is just dandy.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen everything from, well, so many people. in the music business use that word all the time. And well, as Dick Gregory said famously, someone asked him, if I call you the N word, will you be hurt? He said, no, if you call me the N word, you'll be hurt.
He was amazing. I saw him in person.
He said a
Like,
lot of great. He said a lot of great
yeah,
stuff. Um, I, I don't know what to say to. I've been a victim of stupidity my whole life. I grew up. My father was a Jewish New York City policeman, so he endured all. And I have to say that racially, he wasn't on the right page. And a lot of those people that we literally, and I always say this, and I say it in the book a lot. We are literally coming out of the dark ages. We and it's clinging to us like toilet paper on our shoe coming out of a public toilet. And that was a bunch of toilet paper on that woman's shoe. And I just hope people won't judge everybody who looks like her to think that that's the way they think, because it isn't the way they think. It's the way stupid people think.
hmm
And I mean, I've been a big dumb guy my whole life. If someone calls me a big dumb guy, I don't really mind it that much. But it's like it says more about her than it does about the little boy. Do you know what I mean?
yes,
Obviously.
yeah. But like on a societal level, okay,
Oh,
so
it's
this
horrible.
person is being rewarded for this. Is this going to stimulate copycats as we move? Saturn moves into Aries.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
I
No,
I
but
don't
well,
know. I got a download about
it's
I,
kind of. I
about
wouldn't have
this
thought of
before
that
it
because
happened.
I always think of Aries as they don't copy anybody or they don't like
Oh,
being copy. That's because Amy has three planets in Aries
okay.
in the fifth. She has Sun, Mars, and Mercury in Aries in the fifth. But what you're saying is valid, definitely.
Yeah. Like
Well,
she's just an archetype. And I got something this morning. It was like it's almost like when the Archduke Ferdinand or
yeah, yeah,
whatever
yeah. It
was
was killed for World War
assassinated
One. Yeah,
and
World
it
War One started.
kicked off. Yeah, like is this event going to be something that starts some bigger conflict amongst the citizens of the United States as we have the full moon in Scorpio coming and
Well,
then
I wouldn't.
Saturn goes into
Yeah, it's
Aries.
very well. Like I said, Neptune, Pluto was in Aquarius last time in the American Revolution, and Neptune was in Aries. I think it was it's an opposite to where it was. No, no, no. Wait a minute, because Neptune I think is was in Pisces when the John Brown, the the
Ah.
the Harper's Ferry where he took over the arsenal to get weapons to fight against slavery.
Mm,
White guy.
mm-hmm.
Um, no, so there's a lot of Civil War stuff and revolutionary type of stuff, but there's maybe it's my Neptune and Libra and my basic New Age sensitive New Age guy thing. I always think things are going to get better. So maybe it's
Mm,
going to move people to real. A lot of people are going to be horrified by that and horrified by people giving them money.
mm-hmm.
So it's just like lot, the Neptunian aspect of
Yeah.
lies. And you see, because Aries, if there's one thing Aries hate, it's liars. And so now Neptune
Yeah.
and Aries, that's confusing right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess she spoke her truth, her Aries truth without thought, without pre-thought, which is so
Mm-hmm.
Aries. But
Mm-hmm.
it was, but it's like showing someone your tumor. What she did, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
um, I,
South Node in Virgo. She showed them her health problem.
wow,
Her
interest. Yeah,
and
her mental health problem. Yeah, you're
mm,
right. Yeah,
mm,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's like being a lawyer. There's so many people out there working full time to make your trade look bad. you know.
I wanted to tell you this. Veronica's telling you and Amy that Veronica loves the Enchanted Love Tarot deck. So beautiful and
Oh, thank
Neptunian.
you. Thank.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Amy and I, we really do live in the enchanted world. We've made some, decisions that have helped us to do it, and thank God we have a track record and wonderful company like Inside Editions asked us to make projects and we're so fortunate, and the only way to deal with good fortune is to share it, I think. And
Absolutely.
so that's what we're going to try and do and keep doing until the day we find out what's on the other side.
Yes. Oh, and Pale Sala is saying idolize the aggressor. Yes. So some people
Nice.
are idolizing the aggressor.
Wow.
Other people are seeing this, and it's so Venus. Think about it today. Venus, Neptune, and Aries. This woman is making money and being idolized for being aggressive against a little child.
And yeah, and I read that she has to move. And her meanwhile her daughter is paying the price in school.
Oh, okay. I got to go back and research more of this, what's happened since then, because it's things happen so fast. It's like
Yes.
the
That's Pluto and Aquarius.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's like 6 hours, and the story is like spiraled into.
It's unbelievable. Thanks to social media and the internet. Yeah, I mean, we keep our heads down and we just do our work. That's
Hmm.
that's. But one thing I found when I used to work in the film business. I mean, as a bodyguard and stuff. But I also worked as a location manager. I was in charge of the food that everybody ate. I found out that no matter what you do, there's going to be people that complain. And so you just got to do your best.
Hmm.
The only thing that no one ever complained about was, believe it or not, Maxwell House coffee. Everybody loved Maxwell House. I know, right? I mean, this was before Starbucks, but no matter what brand I used, there'd be a complaint. But if I used Maxwell House, no complaint. I guess it was because it was what their parents
Well,
fed
it's
them.
good to the last drop,
There you
isn't
go.
that Maxwell House? That's why.
I I I never thought of that, but you're absolutely right.
Well, that's why.
No complaints. So, oh my
Mm.
God, I never thought of that. Amy and I actually, when I think it was we did a project called The Alchemist, which we had to change the name to The Mystic Messenger because The Alchemist by Coelho came
Oh, the
out.
book. It was
Yeah. So,
amazing.
but on the tour for The Alchemist, which was she did 48 paper collages of the different elements of fire, air, water, and earth, and
Ooh.
it was a flip book. I mean, it's great. It's a collector's item now. But we went to Seattle and we saw the first Starbucks. And just to show you that I'm not as smart as I think I am, I remember saying to Amy, "How can anyone make money with a coffee shop?" It was the first Starbucks right next to the market in Seattle.
Well, they figured it out. They sure did.
They sure did. I mean, and once again, there's all kinds of stuff going on with them now. Right now
Yeah.
that I read something about the baristas, and they have to dress a certain way, and they're resisting dressing because they're not allowed to express how they look, and Starbucks is like, well, guess what? You're not supposed to express who you are with your clothes while you're serving. I mean, once again, power struggles regarding humanitarian and how and Aquarius rules uniforms.
Ah.
So
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
yeah. Well, think about what a uniform is. It makes you one of humanity.
Ah,
But at the
and takes
same
you.
time, the
The Leo
rebellious
is you
us
being you. The
y-
Leo is you being
exactly.
you. The Aquarius
Exactly.
is you, everybody being the same. Hmm.
Right. And that's the dichotomy of the Aquarian Leo polarity. Just like the Neptune Pisces polarity for the last 22,000 whatever years of the age of Pisces has been, how many angels can dance on the head of a pin? Have faith in things that are unseen. The whole Neptune Virgo polarity, how many angels, all this. And also, Virgo can be, and Pisces together can be, small business, big business.
Ah,
So
okay.
religion became this huge business.
Mm.
So now it's everybody is a star. Then they could use that song as the theme song for the age. And um, and how do you become a star of your own show? That's why I want to make people understand astrology, because you know this feeling as well as I do. When you're sitting there looking through the world through an astrological lens, it's not exactly you feel sorry for people, but you just wish they'd have as much fun as you're having, looking at it through the astrological. It's,
It just makes life the colors brighter. Yeah, doesn't it make
exactly.
life's colors brighter? And
Yes, yes,
like
yes,
the mundane becomes so much more meaningful, which is such a North Node
yes.
in Pisces, South Node in Virgo thing.
Yeah,
You
but
just scoop things out from the mundane, like being hit in the head with
right.
with a gate, a closing gate.
Yes,
Um,
I mean, when I first met Amy, she was into astrology, and I was into Amy, so I learned astrology because I had thought it was all a bunch of crap. And my life changed. It changed my life, not just because I do books about it and karma cards in '88, still in print. Um, it changed because it's such an amazing way to look at life. And no other modality that I know of does that. I mean, I've written books about the tarot. Tarot certainly is once we realized what search engines were, because we wrote the book in 1988. We realized that tarot was like the first search engine. You know,
mm.
you ask a question, you get it back. But
A
Aquarius,
tarot
I
is the first search engine. I
that's
love
how we look.
that.
That's how we look at it, because you get an answer and you got to figure out what it means. Which is me and Google. That's our relationship. It's like, what is this? No, that's wrong. That's the tarot. But and now there's Grok, which is awesome.
I don't know what grok is.
Grok is like you ask it a question. I think it might be from Elon Musk, which brings up all that stuff, but it's from his company, and it's an AI thing that answers any question you ask it, and it no advertising. It doesn't come back with a million ads and trying to sell you stuff, and it doesn't take your information, and you're getting calls, but it works pretty good. But that's tarot. But astrology is, like you said, psychology. It's learning a new language. It's
Mm-hmm.
ex-
Mm-hmm.
it excite obviously it excites us. It excites you and me.
Yes,
So that's cool.
yeah, and it can give you like a deeper spiritual understanding for
Sure.
things that, yeah, things that otherwise you can't put words to. That's one of the things I love about it the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a
And
deeper meaning behind the event.
yes. I right. I mean, I don't even have the words to describe. Yes, it's like, the difference between knowing it and not knowing it is like having a black and white TV and a color TV. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
it amplifies the colors. But and you can see people, and in their life it's like they have a car with no steering wheel, and astrology puts the steering wheel on your car,
Mm-hmm.
and helps you understand why things are happening, because character is destiny, and
Yes.
astrology is all about yeah, it's all about how to assess your character and use your character to become the person you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not powerful, but
Yes.
and people think it's what you used to look at in the newspapers when there were newspapers. Well, there still are, but people think of astrology as, oh, this isn't that cute. They divide the world up in 12 people. Meanwhile, it gives you the power to change your life. What does that?
Yeah, I was a corporate person for 25 plus years, and it had lost its meaning. And yeah, through the power of astrology, it just was like such a rebirth for me,
Oh my God!
As Uranus was coming to my Saturn and my Sun,
Wow!
blew up my whole my whole life. Boom, left this very
Eccent-
stable.
eccent- Eccentric influence onto your discipline. Yeah, and once again, it's like gears and timing. When people talk about the midlife crisis, they're talking about the Uranus opposition. When people
Mm-hmm.
talk about the 27-year-old curse that took out Hendrix and took out Janis Joplin and Jim Morrison, that's the Saturn return. And when, for people to just think that, forgive my language, that shit happens, yeah, it happens, but there is some kind of logic in there that you can sort of hold on to, and it'll help you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
Understanding the
astrology,
cycles of life, the
yes,
seasons, the time to plant, reap, the time to sow,
right,
all of that, that Bible, that beautiful Bible of verse
yes.
about a
And
time.
it also says the heavens declare his handiwork.
Ah, ah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
We did a lecture at a Jewish center out here in the Hamptons, And the rabbi, Rabbi Schneer, who's kind of famous and infamous at the same time, he actually stood up and explained to me why the Bible endorses astrology. I wish I had recorded it, but,
Oh,
but he spent for like 10 minutes talking about it. Um, I actually, believe it or not, studied the Bible in public high school, Brooklyn Technical High School.
I did too. I was in California, but I took a Bible as literature class in my senior year.
That's amazing. They don't do that anymore, I
Uh,
would think.
They don't do much anymore, from what I can tell. I don't have kids in school, but civics, people don't learn civics. People don't learn Latin anymore, I don't
Wow.
think. They don't learn,
Well,
learn a lot of things.
I got into honor English. It was a class. It was a school with 6,000 boys. It was all boys at the time. 6,000.
That's
I mean,
too many people in
uh,
high school.
we had, I think, 1,100 in our more than 1,100 in our graduating class. It was unbelievably incredible. But learning the Bible, and seeing the historical aspects of it as well, I learned a lot. And it's helped me. I've always, when I met Amy, I didn't know astrology. I was studying, I guess, philosophy, or the Yogananda stuff, or Jane Roberts and Seth Speaks, and I wanted to know the nature of personal reality. Astrology ticks all the boxes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah,
And
I
where did you
feel
meet? How did you meet Amy?
at the filming of a porno movie, actually.
Okay. Should I ask? Were either of you stars of the show?
I would. It was a clean scene. There was nobody with their clothes off. It was a rooftop party scene, and I was a musician. I used to make my living as a musician, as a session bass player, a studio bass player. And I was actually in a very infamous psychedelic group called The Flow, whose album is still available, believe it or not, for the psychedelic music collectors. So I was making my living as a bass player and then working loading trucks at Ohm Acoustics, which makes some really good hi-fi speakers. And her girlfriend brought her to see if she'd be interested in taking me off my girlfriend's hands because she was sick of me and I was kind of sick of her, I guess. And I met Amy, and then
Wait,
we
your
all,
girlfriend brought Amy with her?
yeah, as like, would you be interested in this guy? Because I'm sort of not so sure anymore. And
Are
and
you
then
still friends with this your ex-girlfriend?
no, I'm not like that. My sister is friends with my ex-girlfriends, not this one in particular. But we saw Amy ran into her, or we ran into her at a book thing, and Amy said, I married Monty," and she was like patting her like, as long as you're happy, like Amy married the village idiot or something.
What a great story.
Yeah. It's in the documentary that Anne Marie Serino, who's the president of Emo Entertainment, saw us on. We were doing a Zoom show during the pandemic called Ask the Oracles, where people could call up or on Zoom ask questions. And she was like, "You guys are really cute. Or do you?" That's probably what we're going to be known for, being the cute couple, with all the books and everything. Forget it. We'll be the cute couple. And she says, like, "Do you have a documentary about you?" I was like, "No." She says, "Well, I want to make one." And she had done two feature films, two horror movies for the Japanese, based on Japanese video games. She's never made a documentary, but it's in the camp. And we talk about the meeting because she liked the meeting story as well.
It's a great one. Well, look forward to seeing when the documentary is released. I'm
Yeah,
sure it's going to be cool. Oh, I
we're
want to talk
hopeful.
about Saturn and Aries with you
Okay.
because a lot of people are nervous about it, myself included, a little bit.
Well, do you have planets in Aries?
I do. Well, my midheaven's in Aries
Oh,
and
well,
my moon is in
Saturn.
Aries.
Yeah, but Saturn transit your midheaven is a 28-year career peak, or it can
Oh,
be.
yeah. I'm excited about that part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and well, okay. So let's use the storytelling technique. So it's limits imposed by honesty, limits
Mm.
imposed by individuality, structure of honesty, structure of, what is Saturn? Saturn's all about time, timing, structure,
Hmm.
limits. don't go out and play, practice your piano. You know, well, when you think of it that way, and you think of Aries being the pioneer, you don't think
In
of
personal
how little.
freedom, I feel like it's limits on
Right.
personal freedom. We see it with the travel.
Yes. Yeah. Um, it could be limits on being an individual, limits on being an honest individual, limits on being a pioneer. Well, you know, we're running out of new things to explore, but but I have infinite faith in the human spirit to figure stuff out, and I guess it amplifies that Pluto and Aquarius
Well,
be different.
I feel like it. Okay, so it's Pluto. The one thing I noticed, I saw just the other day, people coming from Japan to the United States are expected to give all of their social media sites for the last 5 years when they apply for, I guess, the visa. So that to me feels very Saturnian, Saturn and Aries. Like, are you going to be rejected because
So it's the
you
author, the
said
author.
you said something about the president
That's
from
interesting. So
entering the
it's the so
country.
Saturn can represent the authority, you know, with the 10th house Capricorn association. So it's the authority of aggression or aggressive authority. You know, so yeah, because Aries is the warrior, but it's usually the individual. Well, yeah, the customs people have a lot of latitude. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's not like they're an army company.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's the trouble is it's always all of the above. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Saturn and Aries can be the discipline that makes an individual or a pioneer succeed, or it can make the individual pioneer blocked by the structure of life,
Mm-hmm.
depending on your chart. So if you, Saturn in going over somebody's midheaven usually means a reward for enduring all the crap you've endured with your dharma, which is where you're going in life, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. The
I mean,
Saturn Neptune conjunction is within 2 degrees of my midheaven. I have my midheaven in
well,
two Aries.
but your business is inspiring people. So Saturn and Neptune together is inspiring
Mm-hmm.
people, but through telling the truth and being unique, which is what you do.
Yeah.
So there's the
I,
yeah.
my mouth is a little bit. Yeah.
Well,
I feel like I've got
Aquarius likes the truth, and there's no truth teller like an Aries influenced person. So,
I've got my moon in Aries too.
oh, why didn't you say so?
Yeah, I'm a sun in Taurus, a sun Saturn, but then I have that moon in Aries and a Cancer rising.
Oh my Forgive me for laughing. You're not supposed to laugh as an astrologer, but what you just said is so funny. Okay, so whenever I see someone has a moon in Aries and I'm going to do a reading for them, I tell them, listen, I know I can't tell you anything. Because if your moon is in Aries, you can't be told what to do. You just can't. Forget it. I said, but I'm going to do the reading anyway, and I'll understand when you don't do anything I say. It's not a problem. You know, I'm an Aquarius. We like Aries because we like to know the truth. I don't necessarily need you to obey me because I know you're not gonna because you have moon in Aries. I mean, I've lived with an Aries sun, you know, Mercury and Mars for 50 years. You guys are fearless, fearless. Do you know what I mean? I mean, Aquarius are good in an emergency, and we don't know. The only thing that Aries are afraid of is feeling afraid. If you guys feel afraid, it's like a panic attack because you're
Mm.
so not used to feeling afraid because it's the classic FDR. The only thing we have to fear is fear
Mhm.
itself. But you guys, I mean,
Well, I have
I
a
can't.
South Node in Virgo, so this time of uncertainty and everything has brought up
Oh, so your
some.
South Node is having a South Node transit of itself. Yeah, because
I'm having a lunar return,
the South
no
Node is hit.
return.
Wow. Yeah, and I wonder what's going on with your progressions. Yeah, but if you have Moon in Aries, I
My
mean, if I
progressive
was,
moon's in Aries. It's conjunct Chiron right now.
oh, Well, if I was a betting man, I'd be betting on you. I wouldn't be betting on reality to take you out because you have the chart. You have the chart of a sneaky warrior. There you are with your Cancer rising, and oh look, she's so nice and she's so nurturing and she's so sweet and she's so shy. And whoa, what did she just do? She's the Aries. It's like, and plus Taurus will kill you. Forget about it in the morning. That's that they Taurus are all about showing to themselves how strong they are
Mm.
and how much they can endure. And sometimes they've endured enough. And when they go off, oh my God, oh my God. And I have also found, I don't know if you found this, but the signs that are next to each other in astrology are much more different than the signs that are opposite each other. Because the opposite
Hmm.
signs are a little bit of yin yang, there's a little bit of white and black, a little bit of black and white. But Aries is like, yes, I'm going. And Taurus is, well, I think I'm going to stay and have a
I
great time. You
like
know,
the signs next to each other are in rebellion to the one that each sign is in rebellion to the one that came before it. I'm
yes,
not sure which of my teachers said that, but I know I got it from one of them.
it's 100% true in my experience. And if you think about it, you can see how it would be true because they have to differentiate. That's like I always believe that the first and last degree of a sign is the most powerful because they have to be the border
Mhm.
guards and they have to say, well, here's Aries and here's Taurus. Guess what?
Mhm.
You're there and I'm here.
Yeah.
So I would, whenever I see like 29 something or 0 degrees something, I'm like, oh, this person exemplifies that quite a bit. But Moon and Aries, forget it. I can't tell you anything.
Oh, we have a few minutes left. I want to know any insights you have on Uranus and Gemini.
There'll probably be a new level of communication. Well, Uranus and Gemini is actually AI. It's communications influenced by technology of the future. Um, I maybe it will have something to do with the whole UFO. They don't call them UFOs anymore. It's like well, it's something unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP. I think they'll probably be interested in that. Like I was friends with Zecharia Sitchin, who wrote books about ancient Samaria and the people that came from the planet Nibiru and all this other stuff. He actually asked me and Amy to do the children's book version of his work. So Uranus and Gem and Aquarius and the 11th house are all about the future and the past, taking the best from the past to the future. So perhaps we're going to find out about the truth about ancient stuff. I hope when
Ooh,
you're
like the pyramids or something like that.
well,
The Sphinx.
Zechariah Sitchin said that the pyramids were built to be landing beacons to the big heavy lifter rockets that were coming in to pick up gold from Earth. I mean, the Zechariah Sitchin stuff is mind blowing. It's like another level, it's sort of a unified field theory of where we all come from.
Oh.
Uh, yeah, I highly recommend it for anybody who feels like they want to get their mind blown and they don't want to learn astrology, or if they know astrology. Is
So
Zechariah Sitchin, and I think it's the 12th planet is pretty amazing. It
Zacharias. And what's does it start with an S, the last
Yeah,
name?
Sitchin.
Okay, Zacharias Sitchin. Okay, I'll check it
It's
out.
it, it's absolutely mind blowing, and it talks about all the stone phenomena around the world. And the reason
Mm.
everything was built in stone is because this planet every comes back to the solar system every 3,600 years. So what's going to last except stone? It's crazy stuff, but that's
Yeah,
and Pluto and Aquarius is going to bring out more crazy
yeah,
stuff about the past
yeah.
because it's so Aquarian.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, the whole thing with when Uranus goes into Gemini, well, Gemini itself rules duality, so it's probably and Uranus is a planet of extremes to begin with, so it's going to probably get even more extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Great,
Mm.
just what we need, not. But I don't know what to say. These times they do require people to be very strong. Aquarius and Uranus. Uranus rules astrology, so maybe this is a great time for my book to come out.
Mm.
That, I'm trying to think like an author now.
Yeah. Well, we're all very excited for your next book.
Thank you.
I think it's going to be wonderful. And do you know what the title of the documentary is going to be yet, or not yet?
Yeah, it's called Amy and Monte: A Legacy of Love and Creativity. We're
Oh,
we're hopeful we're going to find people who don't want
that is
angry.
Saturn and Neptune and Aries.
I hope
A
so.
legacy of love and
Yes, Venus.
creativity.
Yeah.
Neptune. Well, now Venus is in Aries and will be when Saturn moves into Aries.
Wow.
Ah.
So that actually
Well,
that you're right.
legacy Saturn
But yes.
of
Yeah.
love and creativity. I feel like
Yeah.
Neptune.
Yeah. Well, we're supposed to find out in the fall if it's going to be in the Hamptons Film Festival. We can't show it because if you want to enter it in the Hamptons Film Festival, which has originated a lot of movies that have gone on to actually win awards and Academy Awards, and it's a big. It didn't start out that way, but now the Hampton Film Festival is a big deal. They won't let you enter something that has been shown somewhere else,
Oh, okay.
so that's why we haven't been able to show it, even though it's in the can.
Okay. Well, it sounds like it's going to be amazing.
Thank
And your
you.
your your next book is Cosmic Blueprint.
Yes, your cosmic blueprint, and it's going to teach everybody who wants to learn how to read a chart how to do it.
Mm.
How to do it. I'm doing all the aspects right now. I'm finishing up the aspects. Every planet in aspect to every other planet.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but it's like 300, 400 pages. My poor editor. You're going to be able to recognize my editor. She's going to be the one crying.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. And this
Oh,
was a
this was
delight chatting with you. Are you going to go to UAC next year or
I,
NORWAC
I,
next
I
year?
don't I don't think so. I have to do. We have a deal with Inside Editions, my lovely editor once again, to do a new tarot deck. Amy has Amy has completed 76 paper collages that are amazing.
She only
And that
needs
one,
two more.
yeah, no, she's done 78. You're right,
Oh,
absolutely. Sorry, and it's called. Ready for this?
yes.
The the Karmic Balance Tarot.
Ah,
And it's all about how to balance your karma.
ah,
Because I am
ah.
the author of Karma Cards, so I guess I do know something about it.
Yes. Well, I need to have Amy, if she's interested, come do a cosmic conversation when she's launching that
That'll
deck.
be awesome. Well, it's a pleasure speaking with you. And the two of you, two Aries influenced people, oh my God, there'll be so much honesty.
I would love that. Absolutely. She has an invitation and I'll follow up with her in writing.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Tell everybody how to find you again and anything else you want to promote before we go. And I really loved it. Oh, good. Amy's on board.
No, for sure. Yeah, we're the just Enchanted World, enchantedworld.com. You can get free tarot readings with the Enchanted Tarot. It comes to life and talks to you. We have this amazing website that Amy made actually, and it's pretty amazing. And that's where you'll find everything about her art, her fashion, um, and all the crazy stuff.
And you said we're in sacred times. Why don't you leave us with something that can help people who are struggling to just navigate this huge turning point of humanity? Do you want to?
Well, as I guess as Winston Churchill said, if you're going through hell, keep going.
Okay.
He was no fool, that guy.
But this too shall pass.
Yes,
And
yes, and we too shall pass now. The trick is to enjoy life while you're here, and that's what astrology is all
uh,
about.
enjoy the now. And
Yes,
we're incarnated for a reason at this time. And I'm just going to stay hopeful that
me too.
we're going through a difficult time, but on the other side is going to be some positive,
I,
beautiful
I,
things.
I think so too. I mean, I feel funny sometimes feeling that way, but things are a lot better than they were back in the 1950s and 60s. I got to tell you, a lot better on a lot of levels. Yes, you want it to move faster, and Pluto and Aquarius means people want the future now. They don't want to wait for. But so many times in the past, you had to wait to the old dinosaurs to die out before crap like we talked about before dies out. But I think now it's time for everybody to use mental floss and clean out their crap. Get the plaque of your mind off. And it's no accident that so many people are getting, plaque of the brain diseases. I think they
Mm,
have to stop. No hate, more love, and have hope.
I love that. What a beautiful message to end on. If you're going through hell, keep going. And on the other side, no hate, just love and hope.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you have a beautiful rest of the day
Thank you.
and you take good care. It was
You
such a
too.
delight talking to you.
My pleasure. I hope to do it again sometime.
Absolutely. You have an open invitation. And yeah, maybe someday we'll meet in person somewhere. I would love that.
Come to the Hamptons. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, okay. I haven't been to the Hamptons since I was a kid. I should.
It is fun. It
Yeah.
said you were in Toronto, right?
Oh no, I'm in Oakland, California.
Oh, big difference. I wonder why the machine said my phone said you're Toronto. I have to check
Toronto.
that. Yeah, it's probably something I hit the wrong button.
Oh,
That
okay.
Aquarius are good with technology, except when they're not.
Yeah, no, I'm near San Francisco, but I do
Cool,
get to the West Coast. I mean
excellent.
the East Coast.
No,
Yeah.
I know what you meant. Yeah, okay.
Yes. Ah.
Oh, someone's.
Okay, take good care, Monty. Manifestors from Toronto.
Oh,
She wants me
okay.
to move up there.
I must have picked up on that psychically.
You did. You did. Okay. Have a beautiful rest of the day, Monty.
You too.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody, for joining.